On today's edition of Public Eye News, a fatal car crash this morning on M553 and another charge filed in the probe into Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. election.
And Caleb Rydell has our weather forecast on a slippery Tuesday, and Max has more icy news from the Red Wings parade. I'm Brianna McLean.
I'm Mason Wallace. Welcome to Public Eye News. The Michigan State Police have released the name on the person killed in a two-car crash on M553 this morning. 18-year-old Benjamin Johnson of Norway was pronounced dead at the scene. Johnson was a passenger in a car driven by 18-year-old Marcus Trujillo of Fenville. According to police, at around 7:55 a.m., Trujillo was driving southbound on M553 and lost control and went into the northbound lane into the path of minivan driver Peter Anderson of Gwynn. Investigators say all other occupants of the vehicles were taken by ambulance to UP Health System Marquette. And the Michigan State Police are investigating several recent break-ins of several Iron Mountain ice shanties. The break-ins have occurred between February 16th and February 18th on Lake Antoine. Several items were stolen from the shacks near the west boat launch just off the shoreline. If you have any information, please contact the Michigan State Police Iron Mountain Post.
A bullying incident was discussed on Monday night at the Negaunee School Board meeting. On February 14th, a male student allegedly attacked another male student in the gym locker room, while other students looked on or recorded the incident on video. This was a cause for major concern to many parents who were present at last night's meeting. Dan Skewis, superintendent for Negaunee Public Schools, said, quote, "The student who was accused of assault has been removed from the building and hasn't been in school since," end quote. The meeting to decide consequences will take place Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. On Friday, February 16th, Michigan State Police arrested an Escanaba man on a 14-count felony warrant. John Shiska was charged with disturbing child sexually abusive material, possessing child sexually abusive material, and using a computer to commit a criminal acts. Shiska will have initial pretrial hearings in Delta County District Court. Delta County prosecutors reminds that at this time the charges are merely accusations and that John Shiska is presumed innocent until proven guilty.
The Carefree Dental Clinic of Escanaba is celebrating 10 years of operating. Thousands of people have received dental care over the last decade thanks to the dozens of dentists giving their time and skills. The organization runs only on donations and sees more than 400 patients each year. If you are interested in their services, you can find their hours on their Facebook page. And the CEO and president of Consumers Energy announced the Michigan utility would stop using coal to generate electricity by 2040. Patty Pope said the utility will generate 40% of its power from renewable resources like wind and solar energy. Consumer Energy closed 7 of 12 coal-fired power plants in 2016 and plans to gradually phase out the other 7. And after the break, we'll have your national and international news. Stay with us.
They gathered to celebrate him and his music. His friends and family took the stage at the Royal Albert Hall in London for a once-in-a-lifetime performance in honor of George Harrison, featuring Eric Clapton, Jeff Lynne, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, Tom Petty, Billy Preston, and Danny Harrison. Concert for George.
Coming to Public TV 13, Sunday, March 4th at 9 p.m.
And welcome back. The special counsel investigating Russian interference in the 2016 election has charged attorney Alex van der Zwaan with lying to federal investigators about his interactions with a former Trump campaign official, according to court papers released on Tuesday. Van der Zwaan was to appear in court later Tuesday at a plea hearing. The charge stems from a part of the special counsel's investigation into Paul Manafort, Trump's former campaign chair, and Rick Gates, a former campaign aide and business associate of Manafort. Manafort and Gates are accused of directing a covert Washington lobbying campaign on behalf of pro-Russian Ukrainian interests. And the family that was housing suspected Florida shooter Nikolas Cruz say they took the teen in because it was the right thing to do after his mother died. They're also defending their decision to allow him to keep around half a dozen guns. Hannah Doba has the latest from New York.
As accused Florida high school shooter, 19-year-old Nikolas Cruz appeared in front of a judge yesterday for a second time. The family that had been housing him was speaking out. James and Kimberly Sneed insist Cruz showed no warning signs that he was about to do harm to himself or others.
He had a positive path going. He was going to school, he had a job. He told us 2 weeks ago is the happiest he's ever been.
The family says when Cruz moved into their home with around half a dozen guns, their only stipulation that he keep them locked in a gun safe.
I have guns. I respect guns as long as they're handled properly. It's his right to own a gun.
Cruz owned the guns legally. A Florida judge yesterday, though, authorized the release of his records, which indicate he had multiple mental health concerns, including severe depression and ADHD. At vigils and protests across the country, many are calling for tighter regulations to prevent those with mental health issues from buying a gun.
It comes down to children in classrooms who are being shot.
At this line outside the White House, dozens of high schoolers from Teens for Gun Reform posed as corpses. Students from Parkland plan to rally at the state capitol this week.
We feel like the politicians on both sides, but mostly the GOP, who are accepting money from the NRA, are betting on our lives, and they're betting against us.
The White House says President Trump will host a listening session tomorrow with both students and teachers. Anna Dova, CBS News.
After an intense shelling of airstrikes by the Syrian government toward the rebel-held Damascus killed almost 130 people. With violence increasing in and around the capital, there are now pro-government gunmen entering the northern Kurdish enclave in Afrin. The tight-sieged area is home to almost 4,000 people and thousands of insurgents belonging to multiple factions. Warplanes, helicopter, gunships, and missiles were all involved in the major escalation of violence. And the UK and Ireland are facing a fast food foul-up as hundreds of KFC restaurants have been forced to close temporarily. Terry Okita is in London and shows us why customers are having such a hard time buying a bucket of chicken.
Colonel Sanders may have to call in the cavalry after more than 550 KFC restaurants around the UK and Ireland closed their doors due to a chicken shortage. And those closures are making some customers hangry, both hungry and angry.
It's a big change, so it does seem unbelievable, really.
My reaction is angry, sad, and disappointed.
The fast food chain recently hired shipping giant DHL to make its chicken deliveries. But DHL says due to operational issues, a number of shipments were incomplete or delayed.
About 300 KFC restaurants, particularly in big cities like London, remain open, but they're offering limited menus and shorter hours.
The poultry predicament has prompted the hashtag KFC crisis, with tweets like, "Police arrest the man responsible for chicken disaster," with a nod to Ronald McDonald. Another reads, "I suspect foul play." Even KFC joked it's working round the clock to fix the problem.
It's a chicken place, so they should have enough chicken. Like, they should be able to store it.
Customers who need their fast food fix still say KFC's chicken is finger-licking good. If only they could get their hands on some. Terry Okita, CBS News, London.
The children's television series Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood celebrates its 50th anniversary this year. The series presented Fred Rogers as one adult in a busy world who always had time to listen to children. Rogers' widow, Joanne Rogers, said, quote, "It's just a wonderful, thrilling time for me. I'm just sorry that Fred's not here to share it, but I think he would be just as amazed as I am," end quote. The golden anniversary is being celebrated with a PBS special next month, a new postage stamp, a feature-length documentary coming out this summer, and plans for a Tom Hanks-led biopic. And after the break, we'll have your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jennifer Delin, the host of Ask the Doctors. Please join me and many of my colleagues this season for Ask the Doctors. All year long, we will explore important medical topics, talk about new treatments, and most importantly, answer your questions with doctors live in our studio. So join us this Thursday for Ask the Doctors right here on Public TV 13.
Ask the doctors your questions about the heart and arteries live Thursday night at 8 on Public TV 13.
Welcome back. I'm Caleb Rydell, going to be taking you through your weather for today. As you can see behind me, we got some of those gloomy clouds out there, and it really doesn't look like there's going to be much change over the next week. Taking a look At our current conditions, we're going to see cloudy out there with a temperature of 29 degrees, winds out of the southwest at 3 miles per hour, and a barometric pressure of 29.82 inches and falling. Taking a look at tonight, we're going to see some clouds out there with a low of 15, winds out of the northwest at 10 miles per hour. And taking a look at tomorrow, we're going to see partly cloudy. We're just going to keep going with clouds, apparently. High of 25, winds out of the west-northwest at 9 miles per hour. Taking a look across the UP, we're going to see clouds, as always. 29 degrees up in Sault Ste. Marie, Manistee with 34 degrees, Escanaba with 31, down in Menominee 33. Taking a look at the western half of the UP, we are going to see Iron Mountain with 31, Ironwood with 22, up at the Keweenaw in Houghton with 29, and back here in Marquette, 29 as well. Taking a look ahead, we are going to see that Thursday we have a high of 31, low 22, and some clouds out there, with Friday high of 35, a low 26, and finally something different, a little bit of snow out there. Saturday with a high of 36, a low of 26, and partly cloudy. Well, Max, I would trade this weather for anything, and I hear the Red Wings are trying to do something with trades as well.
Trade deadline's coming up, and they're selling, Caleb. With the NHL trade deadline fast approaching, the Detroit Red Wings have made a move. The Wings have traded goalie Peter Mrazek to the Philadelphia Flyers for a conditional 4th-round pick in this year's draft and a conditional 3rd-round pick in next year's draft. It was reported that Philadelphia GM Ron Hextall had previously declined an offer that would have sent Mrazek to the Flyers for a 3rd-round pick, but after the Flyers suffered injuries to goalies Brian Elliott and Michael Neuwirth, he had to make the move. Mrazek has been playing well as of late, going 5-2-2 in his last 10 appearances with a .937 save percentage and a goals against average of 2.01. And after declining to offer him a new contract, Rich Cho is out as the Charlotte Hornets general manager. Team owner Michael Jordan is planning on making a move to target former Lakers GM Mitch Kupchak for a high-ranking role in the Hornets organization. Kupchak became the Lakers GM in 2000, engineered the Pau Gasol trade in 2008 that led to back-to-back titles in 2009 and 2010, and also orchestrated the infamous Chris Paul trade that was vetoed by then-Commissioner David Stern in 2011. Another possible candidate for the job is Houston Rockets Vice President of Basketball Operations Gerson Ross. In the meantime, however, Jordan plans to continue grooming assistant GM Buzz Peterson as a foundation of Charlotte's front office. And the Indianapolis Colts have announced that former wide receiver Reggie Wayne will become the 15th member of the Indianapolis Colts Ring of Honor next season. The date for the ceremony, however, has not been announced and will not be determined until the NFL schedule has been released. Wayne joins former teammates Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James, Jeff Saturday, and Peyton Manning in earning the honor. In Wayne's 14 seasons with the Colts, he played in a franchise record 211 games, recording a career 1,070 interceptions, 14,345 yards, and 82 touchdown passes. Well, Brianna, I watched a lot of Scooby-Doo when I was a kid, and my favorite villain was always the Tar Monster, and I hear the Tar Monster's made an appearance in New Jersey.
Oh, it's definitely a sticky situation, Max. It was a sticky commute on a New Jersey interstate after tar coated the highway. State Trooper Alejandro Goez says about 20 vehicles reported going over the tar between mileposts 13 and 8. The tar stuck to their tires and wheels. There were no accidents or injuries. Workers scraped the tar from the road. State police were trying to determine where the tar came from. New York City is still waiting to see who will become its first ever night mayor. The nightlife ambassador position was announced last fall by Democratic Mayor Bill de Blasio. He says the position would serve as a point of contact between city agencies and the city nightlife industry. Espinal says the city is vetting a candidate and the post will be filled in the next few weeks.
And that's all the time we have for you today. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Public Eye News, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.